Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the ST1, the tier 9 Russian heavy tank. It's actually a really good tank when played correctly. It's kind of slow, but the armor profile on this thing, when you're angled correctly or when you hold down, when you're using the tank correctly, the tank is absolutely insane. Now, a lot of people don't like this tank. I don't know why, but you know, it's a good tank. It really is a good tank, but you need to play it correctly. If you go out in the open, then yeah, you're a bit slow. It's a very slow tank, but it has lovely armor. It has a lovely armor profile. It's got a nice gun as well. So the tank leading on for this, the IS-4, is also one of the best tier 10 heavy tanks, and I would probably recommend this line. As I keep saying, I'd recommend this line for any newcomer in the game. So we're going to have a couple of games I'm not going to have a couple of games. We're going to watch a couple of games in the ST just to show how good it can actually perform. Now, the first game, he's in a bit of a strange position. Not the kind of position I would expect the ST to be in. The ST is more of a frontline tank, to be at the front, to soak up the damage, to side scrape, hold down. But this guy, he's actually come to the left side of the canal map, to the canal map, and he's actually got some shots off. So I mean, we can't all laugh, we can't all complain. He's in a position where he's actually got shots off and he's dealing some damage, and he's even trying the HE from this distance, which I'm proud of. You know, trying the HE from this distance, you know, is pretty risky, pretty ballsy, but you know, it could pay off. So at the moment, his team are losing. He soaked up 1600 damage at the moment. He hasn't been spotted. He hasn't had any damage done to him. So I mean, it's going to come back to the end of the game, because the outcome of the game is because he has not lost any hit points. So the team's dying. The Death Star is now gone. There's an object 704. There may be a chance he is spotted. No, he gets away without being spotted there. And I'm actually surprised that his team hasn't raged. I'm very surprised his team hasn't raged. But to be fair to him, he's had the shots. Why move if you've got the shots? And I always say that if you've got shots from distance, then why move? Why get closer when you're in a slow tank like this? When you're in a slow tank like the ST, by the time he gets into position at the front, these shots that he's getting now, he probably won't have had. Now, he's now alone against 3 tanks. He's actually dished out 2.8k damage, or 2.6, almost 3k damage, and he's 4 hit points. So I'm very surprised. The team hasn't raged. But when they watch the replay, and I mean, you guys are going to say the same. I know what you guys are like. You guys are going to say the same. He just camped at the back. Yeah, he did camp at the back, and I'm sure if he didn't have the shots that were available to him, he would have moved. But he just didn't need to move, and this is what people need to understand. If you've got those shots, why move? Why get closer? Why get spotted? Sorry for that noise in the background. Stupid motorbike again. The same motorbike as a couple of weeks ago. You guys remember when I was like, stupid motorbike? The same guy. He is so disrespectful. Like, so disrespectful. He should know that I'm sitting in my car at work making videos, and he should be freaking quiet. Stupid guy. So our guy here in the ST, now 3.8k damage, 3.9k damage, almost at 4k, and the 3 tanks that are left on the enemy team are now making their way. He's slowly digging at that Death Star, bringing him down to very low hit points. And of course, that's a great tank to get rid of. He's going to lose almost half of his hit points just with that tank, and with the E100 coming as well, that's some big guns coming towards him. But you know, he's still full hit points. He hasn't had to move all game, which is what I find funny about this game. Only because of the position he was in. I mean, it worked for him. It worked. not every time it's going to work, and now you're going to see the armor profile paying off. Now, I probably wouldn't have gone for that shot on the E100. I would have probably tried taking that shot on the E75. He's a possible one shot, and the E100, of course, is quite high. It's still got quite a lot of hit points, and he now is going to go for that E75. So good decision there from our guy, and he brings it down to a 2 versus 1. They're both pushing. He has blocked 1700 damage. He's ignoring the E100 now. Again, the correct decision. Now, the hatch on top of the ST is very difficult to pen, and it's a hit and miss for some people. Some people, I've aimed at this hatch on top and it's bounced. Other times it's gone through. So it's a very, very troll hatch, and getting rid of that Death Star now was a great option. And now he's just going to face hug an E100. And of course, when you're going to face hug an E100, it doesn't matter if it's top tier, if it's a tier higher than the ST. When you're face hugging a tank in an ST, it's still very, very difficult to pen. And face hugging in an E100 is not the best of ideas because of those cheeks. So you can see there, the ST is using the armor profile as he should, and he's still getting those bounces. So God knows how he's got the damage that he's got so far. He is now a one shot to this E100, so he has to be quick, has to try and shoot, and he's probably going to need another bounce unless he gets a nice high roll here. He's actually backing up. You need to get closer, has to get closer. You have to go up to him, you face hug him, and he does get another bounce. He gets a high roll with the heat. The E100 is a one shot. All he needs to do to finish this game is not bounce, and he's gonna wait for it. He's gonna take the opportunity, and that is 6 kills. So a very strange position for an ST1, but he made it work. He done the damage, and he still ended up on 8k damage. I mean, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Nice win, nice amount of damage. So there we go, 8,140 damage, 1925 base XP. That's a lot of base XP considering he wasn't spotting any targets. He wasn't, I mean, he was shooting from distance, but you know, he done a pretty good job. Next up, we have Ranium, and again, this time he's top tier, and he's going to play a little bit different to the first battle that we have just watched. So he's now rushing towards this right side. This tank in tier 8 is an absolute beast. It really is a beast. Coming up against medium tanks and light tanks, they're going to struggle to penetrate this tank. Now, the bottom plate of this thing is quite weak, and of course, when you switch to gold, you can penetrate the front plate quite easily. But again, if you're hold down, if you're side scraping, this is the perfect tank to learn how to play. I mean, just look at this. As soon as you can see the ST on the enemy team, as soon as you turn your turret, then that is where it does become very, very weak. But everything else, I mean, if you're facing the targets, then it is such a strong tank. I mean, yeah, okay, there, the front plate is kind of weak. But as I've said, if you go hold down or you side scrape, then that does become a very difficult to pen. So you can see he's still front line. His team are pretty much sat at the back. He does have a couple of heavies with him. The rest of the team, however, are all pretty much sat at the back towards the sort of left side-ish, and now the medium tanks and the light tanks are actually dealing with them tanks. So you can see that's what I mean about the armor profile on the tank when you're looking directly at it. The bottom plate very, very weak, but everything else is quite strong. So there goes the ST. The ST has now gone from the E75. Now, this compared to other heavy tanks, I think the E75 is still one of the best heavies. I think it's the strongest heavies. Of course, you have tanks like the Conqueror, which is a great tank. Doesn't have the armor profile these tanks have got, but it does have that gun. You got the FV45, also with a lovely armor profile, and it's great at side scraping. But this tank here, it used to be one of my favorite heavies in tier 9. I don't play it as often now because for me it is a bit slow. This compared to the IS-4, I mean, the IS-4 is a quick tank. It has that armor profile, and I think this whole line is superb for newer players. Of course, you got the KV3, which is quite strong, not the best of tanks in tier 7. You have the KV4 again. it has the armor profile, but there is a lot of weak points on the KV4. Then you go to this, which is a lot stronger armor profile wise, and then you go to the IS4, which is even stronger than this for the armor profile. So the whole line is definitely, I'm always going to recommend this line for new players. If a new player comes in and watches the channel and is sitting there thinking like, what line should I go, what tier 10 should I go for first, I am always, at the moment with the IS4 how it is, I'm always going to recommend that IS4 because it does have that armor, it does have the gun, it has the speed. You can pretty much do anything in the IS4. You can side scrape, you can hold down, you can face hug, you can front line, you could do pretty much anything in the IS4, which is why I'm always going to recommend the IS4 for your first tier 10 tank in the game. So now Ranium, he's dished out 4k damage. It's now a 2 versus 4. The Tiger is going to find himself pretty much on his own over there against 4 tanks. Now the Waffle is still there, nice shot there on the Waffle, bit of a low roll using that HE, and now he's just going to sit back. I mean, the Tiger is not in the greatest of position, and so he's just going to sit back. I mean, these guys are not looking at him, so why not? Again, like the first battle, why not just sit there? As long as you've got those shots off, it's not like he's just sitting there waiting for his teammate to die. He's actually dealing that damage. Now the T-44 decides to come around thinking he can mess with a full hit point ST, but again he gets the bounce. So 2,100 blocked damage, and he's up to 5.4k damage. He's now on his own against the 4 tanks. He's ignoring those tanks. The T-44, he was going to ignore the T-44. Can he get the gun round? He can't quite get that gun round in time. As I've said, the traversed on the thing, I mean, bad mistake there from the T-44. That could have been a game costing decision that T-44 made. Now he should be loading, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point if he loads the HE against the Waffle. He should be ignoring that Sheriff. He definitely should be ignoring the Sheriff to go for the Waffle, but he's still bouncing shots. You can see he's trying to angle there. Another blocked shot against the Sheriff. He is getting penned from the T-92, and he is set on fire from the Waffle, but that was a nice HE on that Waffle. He is getting penned. He's got tanks all around him now. He needs to take care of this Waffle. He's going to have to get another bounce. He has to do it. 6.5k damage, and of course he does get that bounce, but now he's a one shot against a medium tank and a heavy tank. Now he has to start using that armor profile. The T-95E2, again, what are these players doing? I don't know why he just didn't go from a different direction. I mean, what use is 2 tanks sitting in front of an ST with the armor profile like this and your bottom tier? He should have just gone around, and that again is a game costing decision. He still needs to probably bounce 1 or 2 more, but I'd say another 2 more. The Sheriff has a good reload, 7.9k damage. He has to face hug. He's doing exactly that. 45 HP. Is he going to bounce the last shot he needs to bounce? And of course he does that bounce. I mean, look at that, 5,435 block damage, and that is the capabilities of this tank when played correctly. 8,123 damage. He gets all the bells and whistles there. Well deserved Ranium. So that is the ST1, guys. It's a very good tank when played correctly. You have to have a lot of patience. It's a slow tank, but use that armor wisely. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all very soon. Bye bye.